Hi guys. So in this tutorial we will be creating an island looking something like this. So if you like it, drop a like and subscribe, and well, that would be awesome. So let's get going. Alright, so let's start off by create a spatial node and we name it to Sandbox. We also give it a child spatial and we can rename this to island terrain. Alright, so create a new script and attach it to the sandbox. We'll leave it as sandbox.gd and hit create. Alright, so in the ready function we call a function called generate island. Func generate island. Okay, perfect. So in this function we will do all the logic, we will do everything. So we start off by randomizing. We need to call that one because we will use some random functions. We start off by creating some classes, a surface tool. This one is used to manipulate vertices in a mesh. We also create a data tool. This class is to be able to get all the vertex from a mesh. And we create a noise as well from an open simplex noise. We also need to create a plane mesh, so let's do that. Var plane mesh new. We give the plane mesh a size. We also need to subdivide the plane mesh. Let's subdivide by size times 0.5. And the same with the width. And oh, sorry, need to declare the size variable as well. Let's give it a size of 256. So what's going on here? Oh, so this size will be the size of our island. So what is going on? To identify plane mesh isn't the identified plane mesh isn't declared in the current scope. Plane mesh, what are you talking about? Oh, sorry. Okay, now we're talking. Alright, so when that is done, we also need to give a seed to the noise. And we'll also adjust some variables. The octaves variables, we can pass it like, let's say 3, and the noise dot period variables, let's say 120. So these two variables you can adjust to see what you like. I'll just leave it at 3 and 127 for now. Okay, so let's get going. Next up, we'll need to call surface tool dot create from the plane mesh. And after that, we will get an array mesh from this surface tool by calling commit. And we'll pass this array mesh to the data tool. Create from surface array mesh at surface 0. We could actually just make it a little bit more tidier and do something like that. Okay, whoops. So what we did here, from the surface tool, we created the surface tool. We gave the surface tool a mesh. And after that, we gave the mesh. We provided the data tool an array mesh by calling surface tool.commit from this mesh. All right. And after that, we will iterate over each vertex in this mesh. So for I in range, data tool, get vertex count. So we'll retrieve the vertex by calling data tool dot get vertex of index I. So we will get the value from the noise. Whoops. What's going on? Whoops. So we will get the value from noise at a given at the position of the vertex. So get noise 3D at vertex.x, vertex.y, and vertex.z. And after that, we will set the vertex.y to the value times, let's say, 60. So this variable you can adjust as well. You can try out different values to see what you like. And after that, we just give the data tool set vertex of index I. We give the vertex back to the data tool. So we get it from the data tool. We adjust its value and we pass it again to the data tool. Okay. Once we have done this, we will make some cleanup from the array mesh. Oh, okay, yeah, we don't even have. Okay, so over here, just give it to a variable. So array mesh equals surface tool dot commit, and just pass the array mesh over here. Okay, so once we have a variable, we can just call. Do we have a size? Or maybe it just works. Oh no, we need to provide some sort of size. So get surface count is the method that I'm looking for. So array mesh dot surface remove the surface. Okay. So once this is done, we will call data tool dot commit from surface array mesh, and we will give the surface tool the array mesh as well. So surface tool dot begin mesh dot triangles create from the array mesh surface 0, and we also create normals by calling generate normals. Okay, so after this one we'll create a mesh instance. We'll give the mesh instance a mesh by calling surface tool dot commit. And after that we just call island terrain dot add child the mesh instance. We could also just call mesh instance create trimesh to give it some collision box as well. Okay, so we save this one. Don't mind the water over there. So we save this one, and we could give the sandbox spatial node a new spatial node called rotator. We give it a camera. Zoom in on the camera. Move out the camera a bit and up and rotate it. Something like that. Bada bing, bada boom. Change this variable as well to just max it out for now. Hit save and let's run it and see how it works. Okay, something's going on. That's good. Could actually adjust the position of the camera. Okay, we should actually give the mesh instance a spatial material as well. So var material equals spatial material.new material.albedo color. Change the color to something like 0.0, 0.8, and maybe 0.4 or something. I'm not even sure, man. Mesh instance, give it the material, and hit run. Okay, so that is awesome. One more thing, give the rotator node a script, override the process function, and just rotate y delta times 0.5. Okay, so something is going on, that's for sure. That is for sure. I think it's a bit smooth, the terrain, actually, so let's change that. 2, what happens if I choose 2? Something happened. I mean, 5? Okay, yeah, well, maybe we should give it a directional light as well. Just adjust it, the rotation. Okay, look at that. So now we have a terrain. It's just a flat random generated terrain, and that's cool and all, but we want an island. So what we'll do is go into asset library and search for custom, as I've already done, and just install this one, download and install, bada bing bada boom. Okay, and you see you get this folder over here, and that is good. What you want to do when this plugin is installed, go into a Sandbox script again, and we want to create a gradient texture to smooth out the edges of the terrain, and I'll show you guys what I mean. So before the for loop, we'll create a gradient from custom gradient texture.new. Okay, we need to give this gradient is not the best word. Let's name it to custom gradient, and we give this custom gradient a gradient.new. We have to set the type as well to custom gradient texture dot gradient type. Right, and we give it a size as well. Custom gradient size equals vector2 size plus 1, and this is important because otherwise you'll get an out of bounds exception. So size plus 1. Okay, so that is nice and dandy. So now we'll get some data from this gradient image. So var data equals custom gradient dot get data, and before we can read and write from this data, we need to lock it. So data.lock, and now we can get some data from the data. So var gradient value equals data.getPixel. So this one needs an x and a y, and this we get from the vertex.x and vertex.z. And we also need to offset. This is very hard to explain in English. We need to offset the position because the terrain's origin is in the middle of the terrain, and this the origin of the gradient texture is on the upper left corner of the image. So that is why we need to provide a size and divide it by half by multiply it by 0.5. The same goes for the Z, so size 0.5. And we can also multiply everything by a constant, let's say y.5. You can try to adjust and modify this value as well to see what result you like the best. Okay, so once we have we take the red channel. So this get pixel returns a color, and we can either retrieve the red, the blue, and the green color. It doesn't matter. So I just chose to return the red value, and once we get the color of the current pixel that we're looking at, we assign the color, rather the red channel the color, to this variable. And after that, we will call value, and we subtract by the gradient value. And hopefully that is it. And after that, we need to unlock it as well. We need to unlock the data. We can do that. Yeah, data.unlock. I think you have to do this. I'm not even sure, man, but I think you have to unlock it. Oh, data.unlock. So if we run this now, we should get an awesome looking island. And yeah, we do. That is cool. We can give it a water as well, just to make it look a little bit nicer. So let's instantiate this water. This water is this water comes from a previous tutorial I made. So if you're interested, have a look at that one. So it's nice looking polygon. It's a nice looking polygon water, low poly water. Sorry. And if we run this now, let's lower the position of the water a little bit, something like that, maybe a little bit more. Okay. Let's lower the camera as well. Bada bing, bada boom. And look at that. This is our island. So what you can do is you can actually go into the Sandbox script. You can adjust these two variables. So let's see what happens if I choose to put 50 on a period. You get a really rough terrain. Let's hit this back up to 120, and let's say 2 on octaves, and you get a smooth looking terrain. Let's say 6. I think this one goes 1 to 6. 90. You can try out different values and see what you like the most. We could actually lower the water as well. I think it needs to go down a little bit. Okay, so look at this. This is awesome. Yeah, so this is our island. If you like this, just leave a like, subscribe, and help me get rich. So peace out.